this computer. There you go. Now I'm recording. Let me just make sure. So how do you guys feel so far these first 2 weeks? Because I'm aware that the first 2 weeks are the most difficult since it's literally all about, blocking out the character, making some anatomy passes even. So I just wonder how you guys feel about the first 2 weeks, if the lessons were clear, that is very important. And also in general about the pace of the course. I want to know your opinion. There you go. And we have everybody. That's awesome. This week we have everyone.
All right.
You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Hannibal, I need you to upload the ZBrush file back again to Drive. Some of the folders got deleted. So
It should be there now, no?
Is there already?
I already uploaded my stuff as well. So.
Yes, I just finished, actually. You see it?
Okay.
It says one upload complete.
Okay. It's under Module 2, right? Module 2 folder.
Let me see. It should be. How do I get up? Name.
It's just that some of the files, some of the folders got deleted. So I just trying to go. There you go, Anton. There, Anton is there. Awesome.
You see it?
Hannibal, not yet. Maybe it's just still uploading.
Can somebody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Okay, this is Remo, right?
Yes, this is Remo. Yeah, I don't
Awesome.
have image.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, man. We missed you last week.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get any notification, so I was like, huh?
Yes, like I was discussing that with Maria. Like, how come? It's like I actually even wrote you today an email if you have like maybe seen it under a spam folder or something.
It wasn't my spam, man. That was the issue.
Okay.
So it's totally fine. No worries.
All right. So it's very important. So in any case, the email doesn't work. Just try, guys, to check always under announcements. We always try to put like any important news, like for example, the webinar meetings. So it's very important to double check always information just in case. All right. So meanwhile, everything is uploaded. I think.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think it put it on my own. I was on the site, but somehow it says my drive. So that's not good.
Okay. I'm going to just click here on the chat just quickly. I'm going to set up for you guys the link of Google Drive. Just to make sure under module 2, and let me just get the shareable link. And then, what is this? Can share internet on? Wait a second. Module 2. Right, how I do this? I want to do share and copy link. All right, just let me do this on the chat. And just in case you need to get, again, the link, just drop the files there. All right, sorry, guys. Sorry for the little inconvenience. Like, high technology, sometimes it happens. Let me get into the syntax. So I'm going to start with Alfredo, since it's one of the files that I already have here. Okay. And in general, I think, Alfredo, in your case, I'm super surprised because everything is already just, everything just fits so perfect. I think in terms of anatomy and anything, like I don't want to say even nothing because it's already great. The only issue that I have with this concept in general is I have the impression that the character is not like completely like, I don't know, like rounded shapes, but more like linear shapes, angulars. I think on the last week we were discussing about that. And it's the only thing that I feel like maybe you should push for like certain type of forms. Like for example, here on the arms, like try to make the arms like a little bit, like a bit more extreme in general, like, so it looks like a more type of drawing character type of thing, and actually here on the concept, it's kind of going this direction. And even on the face itself, like doing a little bit of the same. But on top of this, one of the things that I want to start mentioning for you is I'm already working with some asymmetry, since I think your character is fully symmetrical, right?
Yeah, it's fully symmetrical.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start really working some face expression, because I think in most of the cases, all the characters already have certain level of expression. So the first thing that I want you to do is like already jump into asymmetry, since everything's already well blocked out. And we're going to start working a lot these kind of micro expressions. So in terms of smiling, probably you're aware already how all the corner of the mouth go towards the cheek area, etc. So we can already start doing this kind of asymmetry. Even normally what I do with the mouth, I try always to push the mouth slightly to one of the sides, and that always helps to even make the character look better in one of the quarter views. So for example, if we're working in this view, for example here, we can already start doing that. We can slightly start pushing, the mouth more towards like this type of area. And then we can already start pushing the corner of the mouth toward the nasolabial cheek area that is here.
Okay.
But it's like, it's very, very small details. And the other thing that I have, like just a personal interpretation, is that maybe the lower lip is too big. So if I trace a line, let me just make a print here. If I trace a line here, I can already see that both lips are very close to each other, like if I trace a vertical line. And normally there should be like a little bit more of distance. Let me just check from this. So I think from my point of view, I will just push it a little bit, inwards, just to have like a better profile view.
Okay.
But it's more of a personal interpretation, because even if she has big lips, I don't think it should be like a two operated lips, from the sense that they really stick out. So maybe just something a bit more natural, and with this shape a little bit more like this. And the other thing that I was just thinking as well is about let's say the frontal view. So your character is slim by default. So I think in terms of the proportions of the head, you can already start even working in that sense. Because anatomically is great, but I think you can push already to get the character slightly slimmer. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but
yeah.
So also in the frontal view, it looks better. And the great thing about this concept is that the hair plays a massive role here. So just by creating this contrast between let's say the slim head in comparison with the hair, is going to give you a really good like contrast and shape. Let me just merge all this folder so I can just operate everything in one shot. And I think you can already start, like doing this kind of operation. So already the face start looking a little bit slimmer. You already can have like some small silhouette changes. I don't know if I mentioned during the classes, but every time you're working with characters, I recommend you to work with flat color time to time, just because it kind of helps you to see the shapes, the silhouette. And especially for things like the hair, I think it's a very, very important thing to do, because hair, it can be a little bit messy sometimes.
Okay.
And how the volumes work out on the characters are going to play a massive role. So if you play on the flat color, it can be very interesting as well. So from here, I can already give this massive volume to the hair, and already thinking this way. Let me just go back to the skin blend material. Let me just get back to this. I'm probably also working with more angular shapes in general. So maybe with the trim dynamic, you can already start, like making this shape slightly, like more angular and less, rounded in general.
Okay.
I think that's going to help quite a lot to your character.
Okay. Yeah, I've been using a lot of curves.
Yeah. Do you have any question in general about the character itself?
No, I didn't know how to approach the hoodie thing. So what I did is like I place the hood, I zero image the hood, and then I try to get it back. And I'm not sure if there's a easy way to do that.
I personally probably will do the same. The thing is, like, it's two sides hoodie, so it's always tricky. Sure. But I personally will do exactly the same. I will just make a simple shape and try to zero measure as well. I think the hoodie, the only thing that I have on this area, I think maybe the neck should be slightly smaller.
Okay.
I just have this impression because when I check this distance here, let me see if I can write here. if I check this distance here, and if I check this distance here, even if she has a funky pose there, I had the impression that the neck is not that big, or at least it's an impression that I have. Let me just clear the drawings, come back to the mouse. So maybe something that you can do is just with the Gizmo tool, that if we just pop it back here, and the pixel box is here, let me just do it again. Everybody is familiar with this Gizmo tool, right? Especially for those that were not last week. You guys are familiar with this tool? I just wonder if otherwise just reply in the chat. Okay, nothing so far. So I have the impression that yes, if you place the head slightly lower, I think it's going to fit a little bit better. And about the hair takes a lot of volume. So I will literally try to cover as much as I can. One small trick for you guys, in case you don't know, sometimes the pencil doesn't go beyond, the slider. In case you don't know, if you press dynamic here, it can get as big as you want,
I use the dynamic brush scale that.
Exactly.
No,
So
there's another slider that it says like dynamics brush scale, and if it's always on 1, and if you change it to 2 or 3, it increases your.
where is it?
Let me check. Here's on my.
I don't know what that one.
It's in preferences, draw. Dynamic brush.
Preference.
No, in draw. I'm sorry.
There, draw.
Yeah. And dynamic brush scale. No, yeah, it's in preferences. I'm sorry, it's in preferences. Draw.
Preference.
Yeah.
What is it? Draw. You said
Spotlight
draw.
The dynamic brush scale. If you change it to 2 or 3, it increases your. Because that one, it doesn't change when you zoom in. You always have like the same brush scale.
Right.
And with this one, it's still a dynamic.
It's dynamic.
Brush. Yeah.
Awesome. So I have the impression that probably it's the same thing as this one, because this one, if I get very small, I can also make it very smaller, right?
Yeah.
It should be pretty much like the same type of effect. So anyway, in terms of the hair, just try to cover as much as you can, because here on the hair, she's playing this massive role, so it's going to give the character a lot of attitude already. Okay. And the other thing that I want to mention is about the hands. So let me just isolate this. So I was just checking the hands from this side, and one of the things that I kind of feel like probably the knuckles are sticking out a little bit. So probably you can just push all this area a little bit inwards.
Okay.
We will try always to avoid like bone landmarks in general in terms of characters, just because it made them look like, I don't know, like from my point of view, too skinny. And most of the time, the characters, just stylization is mostly about overreact to certain shapes, and normally it's about adding fat from my point of view. So we're going to keep this kind of shapes a little bit, smoother. And the other thing is about the shape of the hand. So what I normally will recommend you guys, let me check where is the drawing tool here. Drawing like this one. Can I draw? Drawing. Okay, let me do it differently. So normally when you're working a hand, normally you try always to have like this type of shape from the bottom view. So what I will do now, I probably will try to react a little bit more this shape. You're already going the right direction, but normally it can be slightly more overreacted. So probably the pinky we can push a little bit inwards, and this one a little bit up, and probably this one a little bit inwards as well. That's going to help also to develop better the hands. But in general, the hands, they look already very nice.
Thank you.
The only thing that I will tell you is like literally try to give a little bit more stylization in some areas just by overreacting certain shapes like this, like the silhouette from, just to match better with the concept, because she seems quite stylized, this character, and I think it's going to be very relevant for her, like try to keep this type of shapes. But I think in general, you're going in an excellent direction, really. I don't really have much to say. Let me just check out the body. She's slim. Yeah, I was going to mention that here is going to be your personal interpretation, how slim she's going to be here, because it's true that it's covered on the jacket, but I will do the same as you are doing right now. And your anatomy skills are are great. I must admit that they're just working just fine. So I think just from your side, it's literally just keep moving because there is no much really to say. It's like, it's just very good so far. Very good so far. Just try to focus more on the hair because I feel like the hair is the thing that is going to give more attitude to this character. So just try to focus more on the hair and that's it. You have any question for any technique or anything you want to know?
Not really. I was still struggling a little because the shapes for the knee pads are not completely well defined, and also for the belt. But I think I'm going to look for some references that more or less get to a similar shape. And
yeah, exactly. For the ones that Nico developed, also they were not like a great shape. So in general, yes, just get already a knee pad, even that existing knee pad. And from there, you can already know how operate with the hard surface and, extracting shapes in general. But yeah, I think in general, you're going to tackle this character like very well, Alfredo. I must admit that there is not much to say. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep moving to the next guy, to Brendan. But before moving to Brendan, let me just make sure that I'm downloading all the files that are missing here. So everyone have any question while I'm doing this operation? Let me say here, done. Let me just check it. Our Hannibal, awesome. Remo, awesome. Anton, awesome. Alexander, great. All of you already set up everything. So I'm just going to select just the missing ones. Download. It's going to Sitbones. I think one of you have like the speakers on, so I can hear myself double. Yeah, I know. Still there. Hello.
Oh, no.
Oh, now it's fine. Yeah, now it's fine. I think are you, Brenda? We got you.
Each other, so
you need some good ones then. Okay, I'm sitting. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start downloading the files and I'm going to jump straight into Brendan. I want to ask back again the question that none of you replied just before. I'm just curious about the course in general, how you guys are feeling about the pace. I'm aware that I'm trying to push you, to go in a good pace, so all of us we go in the same level. But so far, I must admit that everyone is doing great. So, but I want to know your opinion about this. How it feels for you guys. So far, it's good?
Yeah, overall, it's fine. Do you hear me?
Yes, Anton.
Oh, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, overall, it's fine. It's just, it started a little bit, I mean, the first webinar was not after a week, but a little bit sooner. So I just finished first module last Sunday or so.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's the tempo is okay for me. Even though I work in full time now, but it's okay.
Okay, that was kind of my worry about the different type of levels, because obviously some people have like more beginner level. All of you, like, you already have experience doing characters. But when I was developing the videos, I was trying to always to make sure that the videos were short enough just to give you that space to practice like for real. So every video is no more than 30-40 minutes. So I was really hoping that it was like in a good pace just to make sure that everybody can go, But I mean, it looks like it's working. I mean, so far I'm very surprised about the level of you guys, because these first 2 weeks, I'm going to repeat back again, are the most difficult, and it looks like you guys already are done with it. Although, I mean, most of you are already even extracting clothes. That is the fun part already. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm very glad to see this kind of stuff. So here is going a bit slow. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to download. Let me just download.
Yeah, I also think the course is great as well. I was just nervous in the beginning that doing the face and the body, and it was less than a week. I got a little scared myself, I have to admit.
Yeah, you have duties. All right.
Yeah, I'll echo that as well, Marlon. The first week was a big bite to take first, to do the head and the body, you know.
I can imagine, especially for anyone who is completely familiar about, you know, like doing characters. I'm sure it might be a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but it's just about that, probably just about losing, you know, like getting familiar with the shapes in general. Anyway, it's going to appear a bit slow, but I'm going to jump into Brendan all the way straight so we don't lose any time. So I think I'm downloading Hannibal already. So for now, I'm just going to get into Brendan, but you have a project probably. So let me just open
Yeah, it's a C project, yeah.
So let me just do it from here all the way straight. Alfredo, you want me to save this file for you?
Yeah, please.
Alfredo, let's put Alfredo webinar here. Webinar, I guess. Okay. So let me just jump into Brendan all the way straight. I just say no. Awesome. And then the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to start importing one of the concepts that I have here. So I go to Brendan, something like this, something like this. All right. So Brendan, for your case, so one of the things that I mentioned is about the body. So the first thing that I want you to consider is the fact that we're talking that is first a female. So normally females have longer legs in general. Yeah. And the other one is a teenager, probably even, yeah, teenager or maybe 11 years old. Maybe it's not even a teenager, it's almost getting there. So from that point of view, what I'm trying to say is that you need to try to make sure that the shapes are as smooth as possible and we have a, let's say, more of a fat and volumes in certain areas.
Yeah,
so
okay.
When I check in this, for me, some of the shapes looks a little bit more like a bit more muscular. So what I'm going to do right now, let me just get into a layer here. I'm just going to smooth out some of the shapes. Even if you check here the concept, you can tell that, I mean, she has like strong calf, but in general, it's very fatty, you know? So I'm just going to get into my inflate brush all the way. Inflate brush. And I'm just going to literally, first of all, I'm going to add a little bit more volumes here. Here, I'm going to make this area a little bit less contrasted, even by adding a little bit of inflate. And also the arms, I just want to make sure that they are as inflated as I can. Then we're going to jump into proportions, because some of these proportions, from my point of view, are probably more of a let's say, almost not a teenager, but a little bit above a teenager. It seems like very proportional, and kids tends to be very disproportional. So we're going to make, first of all, topological on. We're going to make her torso slightly smaller. We're going to make her legs a little bit bigger, and we're going to also make sure that we start fixing the posture, because right now they feel like the legs are a little bit, you know, curved towards outside, or like more like a spread toward. I don't know if you explain myself well, but
no, I understand. Yeah, that's cool.
It doesn't feel fully balanced, so we're going to push a little bit this area here inwards, and as well we're going to get more fat here, because I feel like she can be a bit more fatty here. Let me check the profile. I completely screwed it up here, so let me just come up here and help it. By the way, something very important, that don't worry so much about the current posture that you guys are developing, because later on we're going to start fixing the posture while you develop the character. Even myself, if you check maybe around module 4, I think it did already even another change of posture while I was developing the character, because you know how it works. Like, well, it's an organic process creating characters, so you're constantly jumping back and forward towards the same stuff. Even the head, I mean, you just come back to the head pretty much every now and then, fix stuff, you add a new element and things change it, you know? It's very organic creating a character, and probably that's the difficulty about it. It's not, you know, it's not a linear process, unfortunately. So don't worry about even if the head is not looking exactly where you want. The most important is always to move forward, because that is always going to help to start seeing the character better and better and see the issues better and better. So Brendan, one of the things that I'm doing just right now, I'm just trying to fix the posture. Even if it's like small changes, the most important thing that I want you to know is about the in human body in general. Shapes in general are very smooth and curved. So we're going to try to work a curve like this.
Okay.
Something more like this. Okay. So right now I feel like the silhouette is kind of going like a little bit messy and probably it's not helping to read the character well. So just by adding some small changes here and trying to develop this is going to help just this neutral pose. And that's also for all of you that if you guys have some issues about how the character is looking initially, especially about silhouette, posture in general, try to always to work with this type of smooth, shapes in general. It's going to help you to read the shapes better. So I think with these updates, we can already start doing some updates here. And the other thing that I want to mention, Brandon, is about the breast. I will totally remove any breast area, mostly because, it's a girl, so it feels a little bit like too much for a girl. So what we can do is
because the concept itself is like varying between, like, there's 3 different concepts there that are all based on the same thing, but because it was just sketches. I think that there was no definitive in terms of age.
Right.
So yeah, and some of them that she looks older, like it's basically she goes from 11 to about 15 in those 3 sketches.
Well, it's funny, but from the 3 sketches that I'm just checking, I just feel that the middle one is just great. It's my personal feeling, and I can actually stuck into that one because the other 2 are good. But I feel in terms of character personality, the middle one is just...
No, that was the central concept that I've been using. And I mean, apart from the sketches that I did over the face, it was all based on that central concept.
Awesome. So I think we can try to focus just on this one, and then we just can keep working from there. Awesome.
Perfect.
So let's talk about this type of body. So the first thing is about making, giving more fat to the body. I think also to Anton, I can explain you that the more fat, the better for teenagers and kids. And the other one's about the torso. Torso in general, in terms of kids, they're going to have very small torso. Probably the legs, we're going to make them slightly smaller. Let me check comparison with the body. Maybe it's too much here.
Yeah, I think the body now needs to be bigger because her head looks massive.
Yes, now with this update, it needs to be massive. So that's next. Let me just put it here. And now we can actually, let's activate the pixel boxes here. We can actually make the whole thing even bigger. And then we can see comparison.
So what does this box do, this pixel box?
So the thing is that right now, for example, I'm scaling all bunch of these different subtools, if you can tell. If I have just one pizza box available, I only able to scale down the subtool that right now I am using here, that is this one here.
Okay.
So by using this tool, I can just freeze and unfreeze just by using the classic commands of hide and unhide. And right now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to make sure that I'm operating in whatever I am unfreezing. So you can see that.
That's new for me as well.
Awesome.
So this is very extremely useful to do this type of changes when you have already clothing and stuff. It's going to always help you to do this kind of stuff. I think something like this for now, but I think in general, what we can do is already keep working on the silhouette of this character just by giving her a little bit more of volume. Let me just make sure that I am with the symmetry mode on. I just don't want to touch the arms for now. As you can tell, I don't want to give right now like a too excessive silhouette. I just want to make sure that the character is, the silhouette in general is looking like strong enough. Something like this. I think the profile view also needs to be a little bit more pushed. I don't know if you can follow me, Brendan. That it's mostly about probably giving her a little bit more of, teenage look just by literally just giving more fat in general. It's going to help you quite a lot because just before I think it was too skinny for this type of concept. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's just my tendency though. So yeah, I can see where you're going with this.
It's very normal. We tend to overreact shapes no matter what. In fact, I think the first week, a lot of you, when you guys were developing the bodies, I noticed straight away that you were even giving muscles and this kind of stuff. And I think I was trying to push you out, like, no, smooth shapes, focus on the volumes, because it's a very normal tendency. But at the end of the day, once you start working more in the industry, to work more in characters, you realize that it's not about anatomy. It's just about forms. And human body is soft. I mean, if you check out head scans or even body scans, you don't see almost any muscle. You just see fat sticking out, like having this, to be able to see, this type of definition, maybe like, well, the rib cage is fine, but, abdominals and this kind of stuff it's almost impossible in a real human. Unless we are working, the superheroes, obviously.
Yeah, save me for last, because you're really going to let me have it when it comes to that.
Actually, I want to know. You're working with the
body scan, right?
Yeah, you're working with the the anime girl, what's the name?
The Major from
the Major. That's right.
From Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have you got there the concept?
Yeah, no, I put a concept up there. I had a picture from a friend that he did a younger, character like what you have, and the proportion. I mean, she was either short or younger, and it just looked wrong. Like no matter what I did, but the thing was, with the Major, I had hard surface as well as clothing, as well as I've done some sculpts of people that are supposed to have certain ethnic features, and I've messed them up, Yeah, it was always harder for me, so I figured I would probably get more out of, doing the Major.
Yeah.
With a more, semi-realistic face like the ones that Nico draws. But the anime face is in there also, and it's, people tend to really like it, So all the heads are there and the bodies are there. The thing is, for me, I started with drawing, so I tend to, I used to draw dynamic stuff and had problems with certain anatomy. And I was introduced to sculpture because I was always told that if I knew how to sculpt and think in 3D, I'd have an easier time drawing. So that was only a few years ago, and I was building about 6 to 8 pieces in Super Sculpey, and they all dried out and fell off the armatures one by one. So that Jason Momoa you saw, I actually sculpted in clay, and it was completely destroyed. And so that's why at the time I was being helped by a guy named Eric Sosa.
Eric Sosa. Yeah, I know
he's
him.
A great guy. He pretty much is the one that pushed me into, to ZBrush. So now a lot of times I have a tendency of fleshing in the anatomy and then knocking it back just to make sure that my shapes are right. Because one of the classes I also took when I began sculpting was Andrew Carson's class at Anatomy Tools.
Right.
So it's just, but you're going to see evidence of all that there, because the thing about Kusanagi is that she's sexy, but then she could pull the top of a tank off. So you kind of have a...
it should have something, that's true. It's female, especially when it comes to strong females, it's extremely tricky. Because there is this line that if you pass, it can get like very muscular. It can get even like a male-ish style, and otherwise you can just overreact it as well. So it's a tricky one. Nevertheless, once we see your concept, we can already start taking some decisions. Because right now I'm not sure which concept are you following. So that's once we get to yours, we're going to start taking a look.
No problem.
Okay, I'm going to get back to Brendan. I was doing just some few updates here. One of the things that I want to mention is about the inner calf. I was struggling a little bit. This inner calf is always a little bit inwards. So if you check from this profile view, from this quarter view, here we have what's called the tibia. Sometimes I forget the name. So you have the tibia, and here it should be like a very obvious that this area here, this calf, it kind of goes a little bit inwards, the tibia, that always escapes to develop the shapes. So for this quarter view, I was kind of just playing with it, just trying to get the right shape. So now it kind of feels like a little bit more natural. And I think from here, you can already even work out the same concepts for the arms. So if we do exactly thing for the arms, first of all, just let me fix the posture. Just make it slightly like this, so the posture is a little bit more natural. And you can apply exactly the same methodology. Maybe just with inflate brush, just try to add some fat. Forget about the muscles. I see that you have the bicep defined and also, you know, the flexors and extensors. I wouldn't worry too much about this kind of stuff in this type of character, but mostly
so
about just get the right to
like tubes.
Yes, that's what in that lesson I was trying to work always from primitives, because from primitives is where you can really focus on the silhouettes without considering like anatomy. And once you're completely satisfied, you can dynamesh and you know, play with that. So that's probably one of the reasons why it's very important to always work from low subdivision, from very simple shapes until you start getting things more complicated. The other thing I feel like the forearm is too big for a female. So I'm just trying to fix it by something like this. Something like this. I just right now really thinking about the silhouette in general. I don't really try to fix any anatomy for now. So I just kind of something more like this. And right now it feels more like a kid body, because before it was, from my point of view, it was like it's more of an adult type of thing. I think right now we're talking more about this type of, you know, kid body that
absolutely.
I think is going to fit more. And here you just pretty much just have to, you know, to reshape everything just to fit on the concept, and now, you know, try to make it look a bit nicer. The jacket is quite cool. It probably should be bigger, which is very nice because it's going to play a very, very high contrast.
Just today I got into the jacket and I didn't even get time to do any folds or anything beyond because, and I'll tell you what, I got kind of bogged down with topology in the jacket, because if you turn on the topology there for that, even with the extraction and the Z remesher, I had to go in and do a lot of like
Z remesher not always give you the best option. Even
it gave me terrible and you know, actually, because I do hard surface a lot, like topology is really important, and then I just kept looking at this and going,
for this course I'm not going to give that much importance to topology, just because the most important is actually to have the character right, because once you are working with different art directors and people, everybody has an opinion about topology. So there is no actually like major rule sometimes, but the most important is actually to make it like look nice. So right now for me, this topology works, but just in case, if you guys are not familiar about Z remesher, you can guys always play with the Legacy. That is the Z remesher from ZBrush 2019, I guess.
18. And
sometimes even better. I don't know why. Sometimes the new Z remesher is not great. So in case you have issues with Z remesher, always can play with Legacy and try to Z remesh again. Okay,
is Legacy different from the shift clicking on the Z remesher? It was shift or alt?
Alt, I believe.
Alt.
Well,
alt.
Each Z remesher and each Legacy, you have the alt and the non-alt version. So actually in total, we have 4 Z remesher. That's the way. Okay. That's the way I was explained. It's just different. So Z remesher and Legacy, there are 2 different logarithms, and the alt is literally a little tiny version that they developed. So you have an alt version for both. So yes. So actually in total we have 4. So I think, Brendan, for you, it's pretty much going to go this way. I think you have any question in general?
No, I think that the clothing, I'm a little bit more on kind of familiar ground. It's not that new really. The one thing I had the question about was integrating the hood and the so it's a hoodie with a sort of vest jacket over it. So how do I integrate the two?
Okay, let me just save this just in case.
Thanks.
The number webinar. There you go. So how to integrate this and that one?
Yeah, so the ones that are the same color there. So there's that orange, I guess, vest jacket over the hoodie.
Yes, because I have the impression that the jacket and the hoodie is pretty much the same, right? According to the concept.
I mean that comes from me just pushing the concept beyond what is there.
Right, got it.
So basically, if you look at the red line concept, she's wearing a hoodie.
Yes.
And then in the other concept, she's wearing like a zipped jacket.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of combining the two and putting the hoodie and then putting the jacket over it. But the hoodie is actually the one that has the hood and the rabbit ears.
Yeah. So you're asking me exactly how to combine both
so
right now?
If there are two pieces of geometry, I know how to do this in Maya, like easy, but do it in ZBrush after extracting the two shapes, because I made the hood from a sphere and then I extracted the other.
So you want to mix pretty much these two, right? This one and that one, right?
No. I want to mix. Let me see what the subtool's name is. Hang on, let me go back to my screen. The jumper, the jumper and the hood. So the ones that are the same color.
The topology it matches by any chance?
Nah.
Okay, there is some type of way to. Well, I mean, I will go one way. Let me try this one, but it's a bit weird. Let me actually even clone this one, and let me just clone also this one.
I mean, you can use ZModeler as well, by the way.
I made most of the jumper I made in ZModeler already. I mean, there's a lot of topology hand done, and you know, I cut out and bridged the arms and whatnot. But then, to make the hood, I mean, I know I could do it with ZModeler, and I could reconstruct the hood in from the edges on the neck. But you know,
let me try one thing. So if you go to ZModeler here. And then you go to the menu that comes from the edges. You have also bridge. So bridge normally it's going to ask you for select two different edges. So you can just give it a try and see if maybe selecting this edge first and then this edge first. Let me see if it's going to work. And if I smooth out, okay, it's create the first one. So then you can just go one by one.
That's like the hand. I was hoping there would be a magic button that is somewhere in the interface there.
I know. Let me think. Two holes. Let me try with two holes. I think with two holes, it's going to try to do the whole loop.
I think the issue here, guys, is the topology of the hood is much different than the
that's the problem.
Basically it. Yeah. The hood would have to be reconstructed.
Could you just like Dynamesh it and then break the holes and then
exactly that would. Yeah, I think Alfredo got the second solution. So the second solution will be what I will do. I just give straight some panel looping, some thickness all the way,
and then Dynamesh it.
And then Dynamesh, exactly. I will just go ahead, Dynamesh it. It's going to look a bit weird. And then from here, you need to be able to select just the outside from it. So one of the ways that we can go around, if we go through polygroup, select by normals, let me see if it's going to do it. Maybe we can decrease the normals by 24.
Marlon, when you create the panel loops, can't you just keep the polygroups while you Dynamesh?
I think by default, it create the polygroups, you say? You have...
Yeah, because is there a feature on Dynamesh where you can keep the polygroups?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but then you'd have to make the polygroup of the hood outside.
It's just that
the jumper outside.
No, but it happens me sometimes when I activate group, it not always does it.
Yeah.
Isn't it easier to just Dynamesh the hood and like mark the loop you want?
Yeah,
I think so.
Like draw on top of it and then remesh it.
Yeah, but you can guys see that if I activate group, how the Dynamesh operation even works differently. You see?
Yeah.
It's a different operation even inside. So what I was trying to do is trying to get exactly this border. Because there are ways, because that's actually a 90 degree. That's the cool thing. As we're working with panel loops, that I can just try to get my group by normals, like on a very low, or maybe not that low. Or maybe
I think it might be better just bringing it into Maya and rebuilding.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
It would take like 5 minutes. Yeah.
I know.
The GoZ app.
I would use
exactly.
Super fast.
GoZ and quad brush it.
Exactly.
Maya,
because the last option is literally building the topology here inside of ZBrush using the topology tool that is horrible.
Yeah,
So,
it is pretty awful.
Or
What
on the
about
work
mesh by union?
mesh by union, I think is
You have to use
because
the gizmo, I think.
yeah, but for that one, it still is going to make a boolean, right? Mesh by
I
union,
think it
isn't it?
stitches it, and then if you remesh after again, it'll make everything one piece.
Can you explain me what is the mesh by union then?
You have to use the gizmo to look it up. So you put the tools together, then the cog, and
The
then
mesh by
it's
union?
right.
This one is interesting. Actually, I
That's
never
not
played
good.
with this one. Actually, let me see. Actually, yeah, you got it. Because here, actually, we can even make the poly group here, group by normals, and it's going to
Yeah, but
really
it destroyed
get
the inside.
something. But there is no inside, right? I mean, it's literally just.
Yeah, you could just extract the outside shell now, and
yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah.
You see, we can already even delete these ones, and there are some few polygons here, but maybe if we literally see remesh this, just like this, maybe we can start already getting something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of weird, but
if you mirror it, yeah, now you have it like.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's it.
I can even make an auto group and get rid of those,
Yeah.
and that's it. Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks, Anibal. Actually, it's not such a. And for this kind of stuff, what you can do, you can just go to edge loop, group loops, so you can smooth out. What is group loops? Let me just make sure that.
Yeah, I noticed when you try to smooth the
There
mesh,
you go.
it doesn't smooth the outside.
So that's what I'm doing right now. If you go through group loops, it's going to get a loop all around the hoodie. In this case, I'm just going to make sure that the polish is very strong, so you get a proper smooth. And now you can make back again the series measure.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing with move. Even if you're moving the mesh, the outside loop doesn't move the same way as the first loop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's resistant.
You
Is
can
that,
also change
is that a feature?
Yeah, that is a group loops, right? What it just did.
You can use the slider that lets you smooth the edges. That it's called min connect points.
Yeah, the one.
What's that?
Yeah, for that one, it's under brush. You need to go to
smooth brush modifiers. The last one.
The last one, yeah. Min connect, yeah. Actually, for that
okay.
one, I have a macro here. So if you set it 0, exactly as you said 0, you can literally smooth the silhouette.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yep.
So right now, what you can do, guys, just create a macro. Actually, it's called smooth edge and smooth edge and smooth edge off. So it's pretty much go between 3 and 1 and 0, I think.
Oh, cool.
So literally, you just have to, you can just smooth out or smooth edge, etc., etc. So yeah, good one, guys. Like very interesting. Like it's actually there was a way to create the hoodie.
Hey,
I got that from Shane Olson because I built a Echo Shay out of IMMs and then primitives, and I didn't know how to make it one piece. So that was what he told me.
Nice.
Oh, I love Shane. He's so awesome. Great guy.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I think, Brendan, with you, by the way, Brendan, one last thing, because we kind of go with all this process, but I feel like in terms of the head, before like I'm moving super forward, you can push a little bit this area a bit inwards, okay?
Yeah,
and also the chin a little bit inward, so it kind of helps also the shape of, the
Oh, yeah, that
shape.
does actually help nicely, yeah.
And I'm just going to quickly take this teeth a little bit down.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I kind of feel like in terms of the head. And here about the face, I mean, I guess you are kind of also doing a different interpretation between different concepts, right? So you're doing maybe a mix.
Yeah,
or...
I mean, the face is just like basically exploration in 3D.
Right.
I had a very, very loose sketch and everything because it's quite anime looking, and I didn't really like that. So.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like here. I think in general she's looking quite great. I already even appended the new hoodie in case you want to take a look. But otherwise,
that's awesome.
Everything here is recorded, so you can guys check the same process. I'm going to check it back again as well because I didn't know about the union operation. All right, so I'm going to go to the next one. So the next one is going to be. Let's see who I am here. I have here. Let's go to. I have Remo here. I'm going to put it here. And I know I downloaded an evil one. I think an evil should be somewhere. I think I downloaded already everyone. isn't it?
Sorry.
I just checked right now the files because I was downloading the files while I was talking to you guys, and I have the impression that I have everybody. I just want to make sure that is the case. So I'm just going to go now with Hannibal. I think, is this the last file, right, Hannibal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So I have everything already. So
I think two of the faces are on at the same time.
yeah, it's happening. Let me just first of all load all of your concepts. So let me go to Hannibal. Just load all of those. Awesome. Texture. And let me just get everything here in place. Cool. So let me
I love this.
draw document. I just hate this gradient on the canvas, so I was trying to get rid of it.
It's in document, I think.
Yeah, it's a document.
The range.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think what I told you before about this character is the fact that she's quite strong, and from my point of view, it's more about like probably this character is just defined rather than anything else, you know. So right now, if this is the final body that you were working, right? Let me just check.
Yeah.
Case. You have by any chance? No. Okay. So I think from my point of view, the best thing to approach this character is either you literally smooth out everything, or even trying to work again from primitives. Because the thing is that this body is already it has a very high poly, and from my point of view, going with such a high poly, try to to smooth shapes and everything is going to be even more complicated. I'm going to try now, but I personally feel like you either smooth it out completely, maybe even using the Sculptris Pro, or either try to just tackle the body back again just with primitives and just try to do it like not as muscular and just focusing more on the volumes and the shapes. But anyway, let me try to do it here just to see if actually it's possible. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to make sure that I have a mesh spatial hidden. So there you go. I'm just going to make sure that I have a very big brush, and I'm just going to smooth out shapes like a bit crazy. I just want to get rid of muscularity in this character, if you don't mind. And now from here, we can already start developing a little bit more of topology here. So I'm just right now, if you guys don't see, just with the Sculptris Pro, with the size of the stroke, I just add in or taking out more polygons in general. So I think from here, we can already start building something. It's a bit complicated, but let's try. So the first thing is about the breast, right? I think, well, I mean, this character is noticeable, like very, very breast. So one of the tricks to make breast, if you go through the DAM standard, for me, breast is like a teardrop shape. So what I will do, if the clavicle is happening here, what I will do, I will try to make sure that the breast is attached to this area here, just by giving like with the DAM standard, I just try to attach it here. This is going to already create one of the places where the breast is actually holding. Because from here we have all what is the pectoral major, and all of this is going to be rather smooth out. And here we can already start smoothing some shapes. It's going to help already to develop the breast. And then from here we can already start. I need to add more geometry here because, okay, just take it back again. From here we can already fix it and try to kind of finalize the teardrop shape. This already is going to create another angle between what is the breast and what is the deltoid. And this is going to also help quite a lot in this quarter view, because otherwise you're going to have like a very smooth shape. But if you have like this insertion here, that is where actually the deltoid is holding to the clavicle, is going to help to develop better this quarter view. Nevertheless, the distance is too much here, so we need to push this area a little bit inwards. And also the breast, I'm going to push a little bit inwards. The things that I'm talking right now more about anatomy, so it's kind of going a little bit out of what is the stylized character course. I think if we keep it, Well, I think in general it still is fine. I mean, if we don't focus so much on the anatomy, but rather the silhouette, I think the character can actually work quite well as well. So we can, let me just get rid of this one just to make sure that I see it. And let me work the armpits better here. Just going to take out this area here. And here as well. Now this area is a little bit better defined. And here we have all what is the dorsal. So with the dorsal, with the dam standard, I just try to make sure that it's more obvious here. And I should get somewhere there inside. And it's already getting this area a little bit better. But again, I really recommend for you, Hannibal, don't focus too much on the anatomy, but mostly on the form. So don't try to go more hardcore than this. Just try to make sure that you get as simple as possible, because at the end of the day, she's going to be covered obviously by a whole bunch of different clothes. So it's very important that the body is actually smooth enough so you can even extract shapes. And also it's going to be for you, I think, a very good exercise to focus more on volumes and shapes rather than anatomy, because it's obvious that you know a lot of anatomy, but I think what you need to focus more is actually just in forms and silhouette. And that is going to really boost you completely. Because again, I think from a point of view, even muscular characters is not about anatomy. If you see Daniel Pell and all these badass sculptors, you can tell that people just work with forms and volumes in a way that it just looks so realistic, independently of anatomy. So that's something that I always try to tell everybody is about. Character is not about anatomy; it's actually about forms. So just focus on the silhouette, focus on the shape. I think in general she has like a very nice silhouette. So I think the torso is already working kinda. And the other thing that obviously, since we are working a female, make sure that the torso is smaller in comparison with the legs, so we can always push all this area a little bit, upwards. Maybe not so big tights. And this area here, we can already help a little bit. Already help. What is the knee area? We can already help a little bit. It's funny. It's almost already getting some right shape. You have any question about this process, Hannibal?
Oh no, it's fine. Like I said, for me, a lot of times I tend to when I'm blocking things out and to get the right shape, I tend to have to put the anatomy in there. And like I said, then I'll knock it back and
yeah. Try from next time you are talking again about it, even if it's one of the superheroes, etc. Try to make sure to don't focus so much on anatomy, but just the volumes. So just that the deltoid is there, maybe the abdominals are there, but again, a character is not about this type of information. A character is literally about the volumes and about the shapes in general. So I think if you focus more in this type of direction, it is really going to boost your level completely.
Okay.
Because anatomically you are completely correct. It's mostly about literally focusing on forms and shapes. Probably the head can be slightly downwards. So I think right now at this stage, obviously most of the clothes, they don't fit at this point because they were kind of done on the previous character. Let me just see if...
Well, if you don't mind looking at the two heads just to see, when you get to it, which one I should go.
Are these two, right? Major Asian and Major Kusiri measure.
Yeah, Major 1 and 2 is the same head actually, and the last one is. I wanted to try to do a more, culturally Asian face because I tend to mess up, the features, especially going through the eye area. And I've seen your Lucy Liu, so I know you know how to do that.
Yeah, Asians in general. Yeah, I know. Asians in general, it's funny because you actually develop how the upper eyelid kind of unfold here. So
it feels good, but it just feels wrong. Like I'm missing something, and I knew you had the answer, so I said, let me make that's the last one. Like I said, guys, I actually worked I lost like 6 to 8 hours worth of work because ZBrush. It didn't crash where it ended and gave me a quick save. It crashed where every time I touched the screen, it just kept drawing the same model over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was like 2 o'clock.
I had that crash as well, man. I had the same crash.
Yeah, so double check. It happened again, and I noticed that the local symmetry, when I turned it off, it stopped the second time.
Okay.
But I still, like I said, I stayed up and just kept working, trying to rebuild everything that was there. So I did a lot of corrections that aren't there anymore. But whatever.
So it crashed Excel in which part of the process? I'm curious about it.
Trying to remember.
Because normally in my case, it always crashes when it tries to make a quick save.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the only thing that I can recommend you, if you guys have this issue, if you go here to quick save, just make sure you have the maximum duration just turned like to maximum. This pretty much what it's going to give you is the maximum duration between quick saves. So it doesn't happen every 20 minutes. So it happens in this case every 600 minutes. So
the one that's killing me. Well, I didn't have a quick save. Come to find out, that's why I lost all the time. I think I have too many saves in my quick save, so it's no longer quick saving.
Right.
It'll do a recovery if I crash, but I don't know how to fix that. And then the other problem I've been having is something about according to my computer, I still have resources, but it'll knock off my memory, my history, and just only allow me to do 2 moves in a rate, and that's it. And I don't know
you might be running out of memory or something like that. So
it's odd because if I open it up again, I have no problems. So it'll just say, in order to go any further, we've got to do it. I'll put it up in the troubleshooting area. So
I haven't experienced it.
I had a similar problem, but it was because it was in my C drive, and my C drive is really, really low, and I changed it to my D drive to be my quick save folder, so that fixed the stuff.
So probably because
same thing with Photoshop.
Right. I think all these softwares, they work with virtual memory, so they always have to be writing in one of the drives. So I guess it kind of depends if it's an SSD or HDD, type of drive, or type of how fast is to get data. Okay. So in my case, all my drives are SSD, so I don't have this type of issue. So maybe it could be this case that maybe your C drive is an HDD, like just physical drive.
I think it's an SSD. I have the Mobile Studio Pro.
Right. Okay. Okay. So just put it on the forum, and then if I find about it, I can let you know if any of the other guys have any idea. So let me talk about the face. So I personally, from both, I personally prefer this one. I just kind of feel like it was missing how the eye is inside of the socket, and it's actually this area here. So if I go down in history, you had this area quite smooth out. So it's kind of missing the intersection between the orbital bone and what is the nasal bone. And all this area is very important in every character, either if it's stylized or not. You need to make sure that it's obvious that it's going inwards, because we have a hole there in the skull. So I just pretty much was just sculpting a little bit there, and it pretty much just gives her a little bit of more attitude from my point of view. So I think it's mostly about that, because the face is actually quite nice. I mean, I really like the face that you have developed.
Well, my confusion was the extra flesh that's around the eye. Doesn't it kind of close that area up? I guess that was the what happens there is that the Asian people, they have this extra fold that just kind of bends down, but it's very tight in general. So and it's going just all the way to the caruncle, but still all this area here between the orbital and the nasal bone, it should be going downwards. The only difference with Asian people is that in the profile, Asian people don't have very big nose. So it kind of it's true that on the profile view, what it happens is that this area here, it won't look that deep as a Western person. That's probably why you got kind of confused and smooth it out. But in general, to be honest, this character is kind of also Western features, and also stylization. It should have a very strong profile. I really recommend you always to pay attention to this area in general. Okay. So push this area and trying to make sure to, in terms of anatomy, that the eye is inside of the socket.
So right now I know that there is a hole there. It kind of makes sense that I feel like there is a hole going on there, and I see that there is fat here. I see the eyeball is happening there. So I think that was pretty much the issue here. So
well, there's another face, I think, in a different folder. If you check the folder, you could see the anime face. You might end up telling me to use that instead anyway, because it looks nicer no matter what I do. I can't help it. I don't know if you see the folders up there.
This one, I guess, right? Major two. I have like two different folders, like this major.
Yeah, each one of them has the same. Yeah, the first two, major and major 2, have the same anime face with the eyelashes and all that stuff.
I mean, as a personal preference, I prefer the Asian just because it has more attitude, and also I like Asian women. So yeah. I think the Asian one is just looking great. And to be fair, you can tell it has more personality. You know what? Just keep going with this one. And the most important, just really tackle the body in a more smooth way. So you kind of really have like better shapes in general. I think in general, that's the only thing that I kind of miss in this character, is just make sure that the body kind of fits with the character itself. That it's, you know, it's not a strong woman. It's just literally, you know, a fitness woman. Just big boobs, slightly, you know, like not much fat, but literally not too many muscles. So try to tackle the you know, this character more in this way. I think is the only thing that I'm going to request you from this one. I'm going to save you this ZBrush file.
Okay.
So you can take a look. Let me just do another thing because I have the impression that the head is way too up. So I just got to move it slightly downwards, and then it kind of fits a bit better. And I don't know if you're trying to follow any of these two concepts, because obviously right now in terms of the hair, you probably need to give more volume, you know, like trying to follow.
Yeah, I had a little more hair, but I worked on the hair, I lost it, but
yes, just focus more in this type of silhouette, you know, like the contrast between the hair and the head is going to give her a lot of attitude as well. So just try to focus on this kind of stuff. And then you can extract back again the clothes. So right now what you can do, I mean, the jacket is fine. You can always fit it into this concept. I assume this is fittable. I don't think it's that crazy. But in terms of the other clothes, you just need to fit everything back again. Oh my God, these boobs are massive. You probably are going to fit.
Make them bigger.
Yeah, exactly. You should even make them bigger. I know. Well, I mean, it depends on the concept, obviously. I personally, I don't keen to match, you know, big boob characters, because everyone does this kind of stuff. So for me, it has more attitude, a character with a real face, you know, something that is like, it gives, you know, it has some personality. So probably focus more on the head and don't give too much importance to the boobs. And in terms of the body, just try to make it more smooth like this. And it's going, and then from there you can start extracting shapes. Tell me.
Also, that before I forget, the hands. Those hands are just blocking hands. There's an actual tool that has hands in it. The question I had when it came to the those are just blocking hands. I have.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, there's a when you do the fingers, I always thought that the finger is one length, and then the next length is half that length, and so on and so forth. You know, as you go down.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I had a little try. I mean, the hands that were there before, they look a little like I'm gonna scratch your face off type of.
if you check the process that I'm using, if I'm not wrong, I just work with 3 cylinders. You check out that lesson, right?
Yeah. The cylinders were the same length, though, right?
No, well, I mean, every finger has different lengths. So I just duplicate one of the fingers, scale it up or scale it down, depending on the finger, rotate it slightly.
Okay.
You follow me? And the lesson, it should be like that, because normally, I mean, obviously every finger has different, you know, length and scale. The only thing you need, in terms of proportions, the only thing that you need to focus is the same thing that I just told Alfredo, that on this profile view, make sure that when you create, when you create a, you know, the base for the hand, just make sure that it's curved here. So you have like a nice curve, and you can just place one finger here, 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 and here. That's the only thing I'm going to request you. Even if you see your your hand like this, you're going to start feeling this type of curvature.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to help you.
I have a hand tool in the third folder, I believe.
You have
actually the sculpted hand that I used.
I mean, it's looking nice. I think in terms of female, you can just make them slightly, like thinner and smoother, so it kind of fits more with the type of female character. No.
Okay.
Again, we'll try always to don't make the character too bony in these cases.
It just feels like she's not relaxed enough. She's already holding.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks a little bit tense here, but it's fine. I mean, you can fix this kind of stuff later on. The most important is it kind of makes some sense here. Just kind of fit. But I think in general, no, I mean, you're going the right direction. This figure should be smaller, by the way. Yeah.
Marlon, what are you doing with that exactly that? How are you doing that?
With how I'm masking, or
masking? Yeah, exactly, with the gizmo.
So with the gizmo, with the gizmo tool, normally when you mask, it reads the topology. So if I check the topology here, I can just press Control and drag the mask whichever way I want. And in this case, what I want to make sure is that I just grab in this topology. This is actually the hardcore situation where the topology is a mess because this is remesher this is not remesher, this is Dynamesh, right? But when the topology is perfect, you can just literally mask, and then it's going to keep reading the shape in a way that, bingo, you just get exactly that phalange. So then you can literally just focus on that area too. It's pretty much the same way that the transpose used to work.
Oof.
So you can always.
I don't like the transpose.
Yeah, transpose is horrible. And just to let you know, guys, we have also a different type of transpose that is smart. And if I'm not wrong, it's called transpose smart. Oh. So it reads even better the shapes. So in case you have like some bevels or like a very tiny topology sticking out, this transpose mask is supposed to read it better. But it's mostly for hard surface. Actually, it's not even making anything here because the topology is horrible. So in case you have hard surface, and you want to have a mask that is very specific mask, try the transpose smart because it's going to help with the topology. But you need to have proper topology, otherwise looks like it just doesn't work. Okay. I think overall, Aníbal, just try to smooth the shapes a little bit more just to make sure that I don't know, cancel. Oh, I almost stopped the meeting. What the heck? I just want to make sure that everything is on here. So try to make shapes just more smooth in general, okay? I'm going to save this Aníbal webinar. And I'm going to move to the next person, okay? So you have any question before I move to the next one?
No, I think I asked enough questions.
Awesome. I think Remo has a project, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah, I uploaded it. Like an hour ago.
Let me just come here. It's upload. It's now loading. Oh my god, it's almost 1 gigabyte. Yours is the bigger, by yeah. It is a big project. Dude, I'm very, very impressed about your character in general. Because what I like from yours is the fact that you didn't go to Dynamesh so fast. So you were focusing quite a lot on the shapes.
Yeah, I learned that from Dylan Akron, you know?
No, I don't know him.
Oh, it's like similar to Shane Olsen, and he likes blocks out only using primitives.
And to be fair, I really recommend you guys to do this type of methodology because it just really helps you to read just silhouette, you know? And I just really like the fact that you created this type of, block out, because from here you can already do everything. I think on the forum you were asking me about how to, tackle the hair, right?
Yeah.
On the back.
Did you get the concept?
Say it again?
Did you get the concept from? I think I uploaded it in my folder.
No, let me just check it out here. Remo.
Yeah, it should be in there.
Yeah, it's here. So let me just download it back again. Download here. Save. Save.
I'm trying to go with like an Overwatch type character. So really stylized.
Yeah, it's very stylized.
Simple shapes.
But I think in general you're following quite a lot of the concept anyway. I think still quite close to the concept. Let me just put in here. Let's just analyze this one. Let me just close this, make more space, move it here. So something that when I was checking your concept the other day, for me it's very funny because for me it feels like this head doesn't fit with the color head. You know, it feels like it's a different.
It's different, man. Completely different.
Yeah, it's a different one. So yeah, probably just keep going the same direction that you're working because it feels like it's fine. Let me talk a little bit about the mouth. That is probably the only thing that I just can check in here. And then we can jump into the hair as well. But the hair, I think, is pretty much what you are doing. You're making the major form. That is, I think, what I told you as well. Like, just working the major form, and from there you can blend the clumps. Yeah, but let me just talk a little bit about the mouth first, because I mean, all of us, we always struggle with face expression. I think mouth is the most difficult face expression that you can do because it just rotate, bends. It's super tricky. So the only thing that I can suggest you, first of all, is always try to make sure that in always those in the bottom view, the shapes are as smooth as possible. So just try to make sure that everything is very smooth here. I'm going to push also this corner of the mouth a little bit inwards, since we have all the volume on the right side. That probably means that all this area should be slightly inwards. And then here, I have the impression that this upper lip, I'm just going to mask.
It's an interesting expression. It's like a combination of pouting,
yes,
and like a smirk. Like a combination. It's really it's really subtle.
It's very subtle. That's the funny thing about concepts. For them, it's just a line, but for us 3D artists, we have to interpret all of this and translate into volumes. So yeah, I think in general, the only thing that I can tell is that probably the upper lip in this area can be pushed these volumes a little bit inwards. Let me just, you have subdivisions levels, awesome. So let me keep smoothing these shapes. Let's see if maybe pushing this upper lip a little bit inwards, let me make sure that it's smooth enough. And right now, I just, with my dam standard, I'm just going to help the corner of the mouth to happen more dramatically here by creating the depressors. I was talking to the guys, I think the last week on the webinar about the depressor area. So normally what I do, I just with the dam standard, I create a little insertion here. And then I just go here and here. I can establish the first two volumes. So I'm going just to make some initial volumes here for the depressor. And that already kind of makes some of the shapes already pop up even better. So I can already even give her a little bit more of attitude here. Just make sure that it kind of goes well. Should go even a little bit more inwards, I think. I probably should do in a layer so I can see the difference.
Yeah, I think though, if the character is like pouting, like because I looked up a reference, and sometimes like the whole bottom shape of the lip, it gets like pushed out basically.
Yeah, I can tell, and actually I like it. It's just probably the volumes there, it should be treated a bit different. So, and I think it's just about this area here, because I like the fact that it's sticking out. But as long as it's sticking out, probably some shapes should be a little bit less. It should have just less volumes because most of the volume just comes from the lip itself. The depressor area is not that volumetric. Just trying to understand, because right now face expression is such a topic. I'm just trying to see if my theory goes right. So maybe just giving her here, helping this depressor area here a little bit better. And here we need to make sure that the mouth goes well to the corner. So I'm just going to mask a little bit this area here. Just trying to make sure that, that this one kind of goes a little bit to the corner and kind of smooth out these shapes. And here, definitely we can work with a lot of asymmetry already. So definitely this lip can be slightly sticking up a little bit in terms of the silhouette. It's tricky though. I'm not fully satisfied still with what I'm doing here.
Yeah, it's so subtle, huh?
It's very subtle. Let me just try to check the before and after. I don't know if I have. Let me just save it quickly. Remote webinar. I'm going to open your project back again, and then just to see if I'm going some direction. I tend to do this kind of stuff quite often, even with my own projects. I normally just have obviously so many versions, and then I just try to check between versions, and it happens sometimes that I just dislike completely what I have, and I just literally have to come back to a previous version. So I'm just going now to load. Let me just kill everything here and then load the webinar. And I just want to see if slightly changes that definitely need to be improved. I think everything is about this area here on the depressor. Everything is about this area here. Very slight.
Sure.
And also the corner of the mouth, probably just we're reacting a little bit more here.
Oh yeah, I like this. Yeah.
So you can already give some of the volumes already happening there. But yeah, man, I mean, she's looking very nice. Let me just take out this one.
Heads, right? The head 2, I think. Head V2. No, the one below that. It's it has 3 heads actually. So the top one you can delete.
Right.
And the one below that, not this one, but the one. There should be one more. Yep, this one.
And there is another one.
Oh, there's another one. 4 heads. Okay.
You have 4 heads here.
I'm not sure where it is.
This one? No, wait. No, there is only 3. You're right.
Okay. So. Do you think the head? Oh, I think this head is a little wider as well. So maybe the jaw. Maybe the jaw could be.
According to the concept, I just like it. I really like it. I don't really feel to give you any feedback about in terms of even the profile or anything. I just really like how you are developing. It just fits so well. Obviously, it's your own interpretation because I mean, if you check this head is something else, or even this head, you don't see much there.
I like her way more, man. I like her way more.
But I think it's just better. I mean, I just like it. Very good job on this one. And by the way, probably this area here, I just think that you can push this area that is all the muscles from the mouth. You can press all of this a little bit inwards. Maybe this is going to help also the profile view to read better. So let me just move it out. Let me just see before and after. Kind of make him sticking out a little bit more. No, it's not working. In this one, it's just funny because she's very stylized in that sense. So perhaps there is no much anatomy facts that you have to follow, you know? Just literally focusing.
Just forms, huh?
Yeah, just forms in this one, yeah. Okay, so in terms of the hair, it's pretty much what you are doing already. The only thing that definitely I recommend is that try to start already working that blending. So for example, if you try to blend already this one here, don't try to leave the bulging, just try to make already fading out inside, because later on it's going to help you once you create the Dynamesh operation to, they are going just to blend perfectly during the Dynamesh operation. So for this kind of stuff, just try to already to blend them, even if are different subtools, you know, just try to, ¿qué pasa aquí? Obviously, I need to go here. I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to remove the subdivisions. And here you can literally get as much as you want because I can tell that she has a whole bunch of mini clamps as well, like a very small clamps to start breaking the silhouette.
Yeah, I had a bit of trouble with this, like getting the actual feeling right of the hair.
Yeah, for the hair, it's very important always play the major volumes at the beginning. And from there, you can already start doing all this kind of stuff. I think all the major forms, you already have them. So you can already start focusing just about trying to blend all these clamps and trying to make sure that there is some common sense going on the flow of the hair, you know?
Should I just Dynamesh it all and then just go over it with
yes.
the pinch brush, etc.?
Exactly. Once you are completely satisfied with how you set up all the subtools, just Dynamesh it. In the course, actually, I did exactly the same. The only issue that I have during the Dynamesh, especially for this kind of shapes, the topology is very big, and sometimes it's very tricky even sculpt with such a big topology. So you guys are going to check, I think, module 6. I even made it, and even apply an edge polish on top of this, just to make sure that I have less topology, also less bump. So the highlights in Marmoset were looking even more, more nice. But I think in general, just keep working this way because it's already going the right direction. Just try to establish some flow. Try to make it as much asymmetrical as you can.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, you're doing great because that's exactly the good way to go. Like working with primitives, working with simple shapes, and from there, exactly just developing the whole character. So yeah, it's a shame in terms of the mouth that I'm not sure exactly which feedback gives you.
No, I just had some trouble trying to implement like the armor shapes.
The armor shapes, like which one?
Like all of them. Yeah, I kind of got them to work right now, but I had quite some trouble, like the layering. Like somebody before me had the same problem. I think it was Brendan. I'm not sure, but like the clothing, to get the right volume of the clothing.
Well, the good thing is that since you have already the body, you can already start interpreting, how the volumes change here. So I think talking about the clothing, probably you can even push some of the shoulders already down. I can tell that
she doesn't have. To see if the shoulder, like if it goes towards the air or not, or.
It's full of air. It's definitely a fluffy shoulder, but it looks like the fluffiness comes mostly from the arm itself. What is the torso and what also is the shoulders looks like is more tight. So probably this area that doesn't need to be that fluffy, It looks like it should be like more like this. Yeah, it feels like probably should be something more like this. And it looks like probably in terms of proportions, maybe the head should be slightly smaller, If we're following exactly this concept, Let me just double check this, if I'm right or not. So let me just select the result of this. Let me just select this. Well, select this one, select this one. And let's give it a try. Oh, why it's not doing nothing? There you go.
There's something okay.
Yeah, something like this. I think this size of head probably is going to fit better than this one. And also in terms of the shoulders, probably kind of fits better with the character.
Okay.
But it's like, it's also, all this kind of stuff is interpretation because this character is just funny as well. But I think you're going the right direction, to be fair. No, nothing much to say here.
Cool. So I just have one question regarding the making of the belt. Like, is there a good method? Like, if you have several, like I know how to do it when you have just a body, but what if you have like clothings?
Okay, so
all these layerings.
Which type of belt? Like all the leather belts, for example?
Of the main bag, basically, like above the critter, the little animal thing.
Yes, like this one, the black one.
Yeah, exactly.
For that one, you can create IMM. You know how to create IMM brushes?
I don't know yet.
It's okay, guys. I'm going to explain you this one just now because it's super easy, and you will notice how easy it is. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get whichever subtool, and I'm just going to initialize it. Make Polymesh 3D. Sorry, I need to go to the bottom and then initialize QCube. This is going to create the most basic form you have in ZBrush. And the good thing about this one is already with low topology, etc., etc. So since we're working a belt, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a pattern that I know I can extrude along, the stroke, and it can be the belt itself. So I'm just going to literally just scale it down, something like this. and then I'm just going to get rid of the sides of the shape. So I want this subtool to have holes, because at the end of the day, the belt is going to be built of multiple of these ones. So it's going to be one next to each other, and those are going to be welded together. So right now, if you go to brush and already with this subtool, it's going to depend on the orientation that you have. But if I have it like this from the top view, you can create an insert mesh, and it's going to ask you if you would like to create a new brush or append, in this case, a new brush, which we have now here. And now I'm going to come back to your character, and let's do it. So according to the concept, it's something like this. Let me do it on top of the body, so it's easier. So right now with this one, I can already just drag and drop as an IMM. So if you go through stroke, let me just, I have the menu from Zoom here. Just 1 second, I need to move my ZBrush a little bit lower. 1 second, guys. Well, what's this? How I move this menu here? Sorry, I have the, the menu from Zoom bothering me here. Jesus, it's kind of strange. Anyway, if you get to stroke, you can now activate curve mode. So with curve mode, what happens, I think it was curve mode. Yes. Yep. What it's going to happen is that it's going to repeat this IMM along all the curve. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So what is going to happen is that right now I am already kind of creating the belt, but right now it's not welded, right? So if you go through brush properties here, let me maximize all of this. Let me just put the brush here, since I'm more used to have it here. So if you go through brush properties, and then you go down here, and if final run, you go to modifier, you have here one button that is called weld points. And this what it's going to do is going to make sure that every single of those shapes are going to be welded between each other. So right now, if I do this kind of operation, let me just make sure that it's happening. I think there is an angle, 3 parts. Right now it's not happening. Let me just make sure why it's not happening, because right now everything is fine here. Weld points, curve resolution. It could be about the curve resolution. Okay, there is something going on probably under a stroke. Curve steps. Let me just put it down.
I'm not sure if the curve brush goes along the y-axis instead of the x-axis.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's just that if I do it just like this, it's already going the right direction. I kind of feel like you just need to. I know what's going on.
Yeah,
you're right. So what happened here is that right now is you can tell the holes are in the wrong direction. So I just need to come back to my tool.
Oh, okay.
And I need to make sure if they should be looking up, right, Alfredo? I think that was the issue. You should be looking up the holes. So now I can create again the insert mesh. So if I go here, insert mesh, new, let's try again. If I go here under strokes here, you can make sure that the curve mode is activated. Let's make sure that under modifiers, weld points. And then let's come back to the character here. There you go. Now it's welded. So the good thing now is that you can already create the build all around the character, and it's already with the right topology, and everything is working here.
I remember there was a sorry, no, go.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
There's a way that you can like click, and it will make a ring across the thing. Like,
yeah,
I remember which one is it.
Yeah, this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
you need to hold shift, I think.
Yeah, you need to hold shift. It's just that with this type of shapes, no, look, it did it actually well. Normally you get like a funky shape, but it looks like I did it just by default well.
Does that work when you on multiple subtools as well, or do you need to like decimate them or combine them first?
What do you mean?
Like the shift thing, like the.
Well, the shift thing, if I don't run, is going to read all the subtools that you have already visible. So yeah, I think so. I think so. So if let me just delete all of the stuff that I did here. If I not wrong, if I actually have the whole character visible right now, it might get into some troubles. No, it's just going to read one subtotal. No. Okay, it's going to read just that subtotal. So the other thing that I want to just explain, every time I create in belts, it's about the holes, because normally you need to create holes. So normally to create holes, what I do, I just get to my C modeler. Let me just go to my C modeler here.
Oh yeah, you're gonna delete one loop and then polygroup.
Exactly, I'm going to create one of the, how it's called, one of the ring loops. I just realized that I don't have my interface here. I think when I open your project, I cannot remove my shortcuts. But what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to split this one. So I'm just going to go through split unmasked points, if I'm not wrong. And now it should be here on the bottom. It should be here somewhere. Here. And now this is just one subtotal. So when I create holes, normally for the belt, I just go through my C modeler. I already have it. I go to my vertex. I press space to get the menu, and I just go to split. So by split, you can already create these kind of holes. And then if you just click around, you can create and repeat the same holes. And then you can repeat exactly the same operation on the other side. And the good thing about this is about the fact that if you go through QMesh, and in this case, group island, that is going to do any operation on top of the selected island. If you go all the way down here, it's going to create one call, the first call. And then I just can repeat the same operation all around. So for example, here, if I just extrude it down, another hole. If I extrude it down, another hole. If I subdivide this, if I'm going to use dynamic subdivisions, obviously it's going to have some tensions. So I really recommend you always place a loop here. Let me just push this call down. I recommend you come here and then just go to insert single edge loop. And then you press shift, it's going to read the same shape. So it's going to be a perfect loop. So you can press one loop here, shift to press one
that's
here.
awesome.
And now you,
really great.
Exactly. And for example, right now, always yes. And now that you have like some tension here. So what I recommend you here is like probably just making a QMesh of the whole thing here and the whole thing, and the whole thing here. And then you literally just have a proper belt happening here. And then you can just sculpt on top of this, and then you have your...
Oh, cool. So I just one question regarding the movement of curves. Like I know how to make curves, but somehow I always have trouble like moving them.
Yeah. So what I can recommend you when you're playing with curves, you have different options. If you go through strokes, that I have it here. Let me just duck it on the other side. So you have different ways to move the curve. So the good thing is that in the previous version, they also implemented elastic. Because right now, if you only have this version, you only can move them like this, and they always move very awkward sometimes, like they actually the whole length is locked. So you can are moving the whole thing in once, and it's kind of tricky. But if, for example, you need to, like make it bigger or whatever, you can make the elastic, you can turn on elastic, and then you can literally, oops, I made my stroke too big. You can literally even deform it in whichever way you want. So probably in this one, it's not that obvious. But the good thing about the elastic is that you can increase the length of the subtool or decrease it on demand. Without it, it's just impossible. That would be my main recommendation, trying to use elastic in this way.
Is there a way to smooth the curve without, is there a way to smooth the curve without, on its own, without smoothing the geometry?
I don't think so. I think the only way to smooth the curve, what I will do is literally
that's what I want actually. Yeah.
The shape a little bit and just try to do it manually.
What about the twist? Because that's always the big thing when I use twist on each, and I don't know how to undo that.
when there is twist, there is twist. I know that part is actually horrible. Maybe the best way to avoid this kind of stuff is making the brush with more resolution. So if I go through modifier, I can make sure that my resolution is bigger, and maybe that can help to increase the smoothness. And
I know there's a way to
tell me.
To rotate it, but I don't remember, like with control or something, you can select a certain part of the thing and you can actually
You can unmask.
You can rotate it.
No. There's a way that you can rotate the single part, the single section. I don't remember how it's.
Is it? Actually,
yeah. A guy from ZBrush Summit talked about it, and I remember.
Oh, so I need to check that one. I have no idea. It was on this last ZBrush version.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to double check that one because because it's true. All this kind of stuff is such a pain. Yes.
Yeah. It's so unintuitive. Like placing the actual curve. Like you would expect like a Bezier curve, like you can have like handles, etc. Then you have super smooth curves.
Look, it looks like just by setting a very low value in the max bend angle, it doesn't allow me to get these funky shapes, or it seems to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe just put it down.
No, there's the funky shapes.
No, but check it out. In max bend angle 0, it doesn't let me to get any funky shape. Look, it kind of helps a little bit. Well, I think from my own experience, I do it manually. Every time I have funky shapes, I just literally sometimes even export it to max and fix it.
Yeah.
We need to double check what Alfredo is mentioning because that would be a time saver. But yeah, I think other than that, you have any other question, Remo?
No, man, I don't think. I think it's. I think I just need to work on the armor a bit more and just check next week. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Let me just check your concept quickly. I think most of the elements are quite straightforward. I think in terms of CModeler, I think in the next module, I think it's module number 4 where I do the shoulders. I already explained most of the methodology that I use, and I have the impression that you can actually tackle all of these shapes already using that methodology. So
to be honest, I usually just model it in Blender and just import it. It's just way faster, man.
No, man, that's cheating.
I haven't gone outside the ZBrush at all this time.
Well, I mean, the trick is trying ZBrush, right? Just to see if actually the workflow can be faster. But if you feel that Blender is faster, just go ahead.
I'm so much faster in Blender.
Oh, okay, so I'm not going to argue that one. Awesome.
I found the video.
Is it?
But I'm not sure at which part. Is the one from Tippett Studios when he was doing the dragon. At some point, he twisted the curve, but I don't remember which part.
It's on the chat. Awesome. I'm going to check it out. Awesome. Thanks, Alfredo. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to move to the next one. Let's see who we are missing. We have missing Alex and Anton. So Anton, are you there?
Oh, yeah. I had uploaded one more file, but I think you just miss a little time so you can use that.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to give the feedback to Alex. Meanwhile, I download your file. Where are you?
Oh, yeah, that's great. I just
number
make
12,
a little
right?
adjustments.
The girl number 12, right?
Yeah.
Save file. Actually, I already downloaded. It was too easy. I'm going with you because I already have everything. Where are you? Anton Urashkin. Girl number 12. Let's open it here. Okay, this is girl number 12. This is the last version, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, girl number 12. Okay, so in terms of the body, I think is about the feedback that I already gave you. That is, try to don't make her too muscular in some areas, because right now it looks a little bit dense here. So the same for pretty much everybody. Try to smooth shapes as much as you can, because it's going to help you eventually even to extract shapes. And in this one specifically, I think the breast is lifted too much. So you literally can just push a little bit downwards just to give it a little bit more naturality. And even, I think it can be even slightly smaller. So it's not playing any massive role in this character.
Found the exact place when he talks about it, I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So
2015. It's on the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Alfredo. We're going to check that one. I'm going to open ZBrush back again because I realized that even my interface, I'm missing some buttons. Just 1 second, Anton.
Yeah.
Some buttons even got messed up here in one of the projects. So, all right, now is my previous one. And let me just load it back again. Anton Murashkin, number 12. Go. Skin material. There you go. Okay, so what I was mentioning in terms of the body, which is actually my major topic with the character, it's about trying to make sure that she looks less muscular, and try to just smooth shape. So what I'm going to do right now, first of all, I'm just going to make sure that the breast is slightly downwards, and I will even smooth out the shapes here. In terms of shoulder distance, it might be fine. I'm just going to push a little bit inwards. And this area is exactly what I mentioned on Evil. Just with the DAM standard, try to press this area a little bit inwards, because the thing is that the pectoral actually get below the deltoid. So right now, what is happening right here is that there is kind of blending. So it's anatomically, it looks a bit strange. So what you can do is like make sure that the deltoid is on top of the pectoral major. So you can just do something like this, and in this case also make sure that you have the teardrop shape that we were talking before. I'm trying to make sure that this one kind of goes a little bit inside the pectoral, inside the deltoid, sorry, just to make it a little bit more obvious that it's happening here.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think in terms of the breast, yeah, slightly. I will always make
bigger boobs. Bigger boobs.
Yeah, bigger boobs. But you know, I'm a very big fan of not very, you know, like stylized, you know, like big boob women. So it's kind of against my religion, you know. I'm more type of ass guy, you know. Like I try, you know, Latino. Yeah, I'm a Latino guy, so you know, I have my issues. So in general, I mean, you're going very well with the body. I think in terms of the legs, we can also talk a little bit about the bony areas, because I feel like she looks skinny, but mostly it's because the bones are sticking out too much. So right now, just next to the patella, we have one of the heads from the femur, and it's sticking too much out. It's giving her this kind of, you know, like anorexic look from my point of view. So what we can do is just give her a little bit more of volumes in general, and this is going to help quite a lot, just to make her like less skinny in general, you know. So it's not sticking out that much. And here we can also help. Let me make sure dynamic is on. We can also help a little bit of the posture, just by putting something like this for now. And in terms of the profile, I think the same thing that I told to Brendan, and it's about try to always work like with a, you know, curve shape. I'm aware that when I was doing the lesson, I in this point I didn't do it. I did it in the like in the next module. I think I start fixing the posture, but I can let you guys know already that again the human body has like a normal curve shape, so you can always try to make sure that on the profile view the character is nicely, you know, has a nice shape, you know, like curve shape in general. Let me check the hands. The hands are very nice. We can make them again a little bit less bony, but it's going to be this one up to you here. But I think they look very nice.
Yeah. I was thinking about make them more stylized.
Yeah, they look quite stylized. Tell me.
Yeah. I was thinking about. I just created them more bony for now, but thinking about smooth them and make them more.
I personally, I would approach for a more smooth version.
Yeah, like a little accents on the joints. Exactly. and hands and end with.
Exactly. A normal stylization in hands doesn't come much from the bones, but comes from more about the planes that they kind of create the hand, you know?
Yeah.
But from this concept, the one that Nico created, I feel like hands, they're just child hands. There is not much stylization going on there, so.
Oh, you think it's better like this or something, yeah? Because I want to ask exactly about the hands, how we can stylize them, and if
you want.
Yes, if we need this in this case.
Well, once already sculpted, well, because normally when I do hands, if I apply again the same methodology that I do in the video, I use the cylinders. And the good thing about using cylinders is that already you can create this type of plane. So let me just quickly just create one mock-up of one of the hands. Just kind of by default, you already have some stylization going on. So what I will do, let me just lower the resolution here, even lower. Yeah. So normally for hands, you just need to smooth out this area here, like you just smooth out this area here. And kind of by default, you already have some stylization going on here, you know? Because you're maintaining all the shapes like in the most primitive way from the beginning. So this type of, if you are able to retain this type of shapes from the beginning, I kind of feel like it's going to help the stylization. You can already see like maybe this area can be slightly flatter, so it can help the stylization as well, you know?
Yeah, something like that. I was thinking about this type of look on the joints, like just little creases and the planes.
Yeah, I think this kind of stuff, and then it's very obvious where the planes are happening, right? So you have one plane here, you have the other plane here happening, the other plane here happening, and then another plane here on the side, probably. This area can be curved. So yeah, it kind of helps you. So I think if you work starting from primitives, it's going to help you to read these shapes even better, just for stylization purpose as well. So it is an option that you can approach. Let me just smooth out this area here and smooth out this one here. Okay, so let me just try to keep moving. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I love it.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, like a head.
Yeah, I'm more like a finger guy, you know.
Yeah. You're like fingers. All right. You're a fetishist. Nice. Awesome. Let me just hide this stuff here. In terms about the head, in terms of the head, I love all the improvement that you have developed, because it's exactly what I said. You get more fat on this area here, which is going to give more teenage look. So she's already having this more of a teenage look. Let me just change quickly the material from the eyes to the eye material. You guys got my eye material?
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Just to make sure that you guys got it, skin blend material. And now I'm going to just, to make her more alive, I'm just going to mask this one out. I'm just going to make sure that the specular goes to the spot, just for display purposes. So I can already have more alive character. So in that case, what I was saying, like the character has enough fat, which is great. And then you were mentioning that you're kind of struggling with the mouth and trying to get the right expression, right?
Yeah.
So for me, because I had exactly the same issue while I was recording, and I was like, shit, this actually is not working. And it is because I had to jump to asymmetry as soon as possible. So the sooner you jump into asymmetry, it's going to help the better. So I'm just going to mask out quickly one of the upper lips. Well, one of the upper lip. And I just
I already do that a little, but it's not so obvious, I believe.
I think you can make it. Yeah, I think you can just make it more hardcore, just to start helping. You know, like trying to get this type of attitude. Just quickly just press this one here, just like this. By the way, in terms of the teeth, I probably don't recommend you have the teeth on the same mesh, Just have it as a separate subtool. It's going to be probably easier. And also what we can do here on this one, we can already, because right now the opening of the mouth is the same all across the mouth. So just to start giving her even more asymmetry, you can already start, making her like slightly, like more asymmetrical from that sense. Let me just check from the bottom view. Okay, from the bottom view, you need some updates. So we have like more smooth shapes, something like this. Try always, every time you're working mouth, no matter which face expression, we always tend to change forms maybe too much sometimes. So always double check from the bottom view just to make sure that, the mouth is still correct. So we can do something like this, and we can even just give her more like a squinch attitude here, like something more like this, something like this maybe. Here I'm going to exactly the same thing as I was doing before. With the DAM standard, I'm just going to make sure that the corner of the mouth is more obvious here as well. I'm going to make sure that the corner of the mouth is more obvious. I'm going to help the depressor happening here just by making a slight change here. One line here, one line here. And then here I can already start developing some of the volumes here. So just kind of smooth out shapes here, smooth out shapes here. And then it's already creating me some few volumes that are going to help to read the character better. Let me just check from the profile view. More volume probably here. Let me just check the before and after just to see if I'm improving the mouth shape. So I think just by giving her a little bit of asymmetry, it's going to help you excel this kind of face expression. So yeah, I think my recommendation is going to be mostly jumping into asymmetry as soon as you can.
Yeah, and definitely need a separate subtool for the teeth because it's hard to sculpt this.
Yeah, it's hard, and also you're going to need a separate subtool at the end of the day because it's going to be a different material. It's going to have different textures, etc. But yeah, I think she's looking already very nice, man. I really like the attitude that you already gave her. Oops, I'm touching what is not so. Wait, there you go.
So what about when lips have lipstick? Because I've seen people paint it and the line just doesn't.
You're talking on the textures or in the sculpt?
Yeah, I've seen people use different textures, like try to use a glossy texture and the line is not clean. It's hard to get it.
You're talking about this line here, the vermilion border here, this
right
here?
If you try to make below the vermilion border like a gloss, how do you go about doing that without it looking? Well,
the gloss comes from two different parts. One is the sculpt, and literally the sharper it is, the more gloss is going to get into that area. And the other one is the texture, really. So I'm not sure exactly, because I think for this type of character, the vermilion border is fine, it's sharp enough, which is nice. So any type of extra glossiness, you just boost it in Painter. You just literally just make it more glossy on the texture. I don't know if that replied your question. Because on the sculpt, I'm not sure how to tackle lipsticks in general. It's I think mouth should just look as natural or as nice as possible. Is that reply your question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I've it's probably the topology. I've tried to paint the material in before, and it just doesn't look right.
But yeah, no worries about this kind of stuff inside ZBrush. I mean, feel free to add some color information because certain characters are very relevant to have it. But other than that, don't get too hardcore in this kind of stuff. It's good to have color just to feel the character, but all this, very specific stuff like glossiness on the lips, etc. That's literally on the last stage of the character. One last thing, Anton, is about the cheekbone here. I feel like probably all this area here is sticking out a little bit too much, and probably because maybe the orbital is not too obvious here. So maybe with the DAM standard, what I can do, I can just push all this area a little bit inwards. Just slightly. And then with my normal standard brush, I can just press this inwards. This is going to help also to read better the lower lid. And now I can smooth out the shapes again, back again.
Oh, yeah, yeah. definitely.
And then let me also help to develop the lower lip a little bit better. So it's very important when you see, guys, your characters from the profile view, that you have like this very characteristic line from the orbital. Even if it's subtle, try to always look for this line here. So it's very obvious that the let me unhide it, reset. So it's very obvious that the eyes are contained inside the skull, inside of the the socket, the eye socket, etc. So this area is going to give some extra detail also in the quadro view. And I think in general she's looking quite nice. I mean, face expression. I love the profile view. I think in general it's looking quite nice. I don't want to touch it too much. Probably just maybe we can overreact a little bit more. I'm going to this finger is just everywhere. Yeah, I think just those small changes are kind of giving her like a more like badass attitude, working more the asymmetry and try already get some volumes here on the depressor area. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
As you see, like just with the DAM standard, just make a line here and then just look for these 2 lines here. This is going to give you these extra 2 volumes here. Okay.
Oh, yeah. This all clear. Thank you. One thing I want to ask about this sculptress mode, because I did not use it quite often before, but when you show this, I tried and found it pretty comfortable to work with.
Nice.
But I want to ask, in your pipeline, in your workflow, how in the end you make some retopology of the head, for example, and then project the details, or you leave as is with the sculptors and this dynamic resolution till the end?
In module 6, in lesson number 3, I think I share with you topology for the body and for the head. And I literally just project that on the head for various reasons, and the most important reason is that obviously there is no subdivision levels, which makes it very difficult to keep working on the character. And second of all, if you guys want to texture the character, which I really going to recommend you try to finish the whole character, you need topology to create UVs and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I must.
So, yeah.
Okay, I see. So it will be in the future lesson.
Yes. So for all the body, there is actually topology going on. For remain clothes, we're working with C remeasure, because I don't care too much about the clothes topology, because that's literally something else. But it's very important to have topology all around the body, because later on we're going to be posing the character. So the less polygons, the better. So we can literally deform the form every time we're doing like a lifting the arm or like whichever pose you guys want to work out. So no worries, because in every week where I'm going like step by step. It's just that right now topology is not that important, except for the clothes. Okay. That clothes, as soon as possible, just see remeasure and working from there.
Okay, I see. Yeah, thank you.
No worries, Anton. No worries. By the way, I'm just going to make the chin slightly smaller. Just I feel like it was too big. But other than that, excellent job. Excellent job. Let me save it. Anton webinar. And I'm just missing Alex, right? Are you with us here, Alex?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So let me just look for Alex. I don't know if you have a project.
Or... no, not this one.
Alex Deister. Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah.
I have it here. Alex Deister. Is that for you? The things that I created this other folder. By the way, I don't know if I told you last week, your subtool is looking the other direction, right? You see?
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah. Last week I had the same issue. When I opened your file, it was looking, hey, buddy, what's going on with you? Come here. So, yeah. Feel free to rotate it. So every time you import it to Maya or Max or whatever, you can already have the right thing. Ahead. For you, I actually have some couple of images because I think you have the most difficult expression here. So I was trying to find which is the best face expression that fit with your character, to be honest, because I'm a bit lost in which is the best way. Oh my God, again, Zoom is taking all my space here. 1 second, guys. Let me just import your concept. So I have it here. Let me just take this one here. Because in the concept, obviously, Nico just draw it, but for him, it's just a line. So the same thing as for Reno. It's super easy for him, but for us, it's super difficult. So let me just open this one and put it here. Something like here. And this is the ZBrush. So this one is the one that I kind of like, just as a personal preference, because it gives, like, from a point of view, like more organic feeling. But the one that I think you are using is something more like this. And you can tell how the upper lip is going completely against the gums. So are completely touching the gums, especially in the upper lip. Yeah. So it feels like probably you need to develop probably this kind of face expression, like just making sure that, you know, the upper lip is very thin. It kind of falls in between itself. Let me just do it again with the right pencil. I think it's this one. Yeah. So it's like it gets very thin. And then the other one is about maybe start working out some nasolabial fold.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part, because obviously in the concept it doesn't have it. Tell me.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because I looked for it, and as you recommended in the post with the anatomy for sculptors, there are some facial expressions as well. So I checked that.
Yes, and by the way, guys, I also mentioned that these guys have a book. Let me just show it because I have it here somewhere. Well, 1 second, let me show you. Okay, I can find it. My wife, I think, moved it somewhere else. So these people they have a book, a physical book. I think it cost me like $50. And you literally have all the face expression, all the facts, that is the face expression that we use on face modeling, and anatomy facts, you know, like how to place the fat, how to place the muscles. It's amazing. It's just, you have all the information in just one single book. And as a personal preference, I prefer have the physical copy rather than having image on my screen, because sometimes it's just easy just to see it by yourself. So I think I really recommend you just check it out. I'm going to post now in forum the website from these people, so you can, if you want to buy it from them, you feel, just go for it. But I really recommend you buying this book. It's very, very good. Very good.
What book? You mean not the book from the Anatomy for Sculptors, no?
I think it's called actually Anatomy for Sculptors.
This one.
Yes.
Hannibal is showing us.
Let me see.
This one.
Yes. I have exactly that one. Yes, Hannibal, you have the right one.
Yeah, I think it's great. I saw this, but
I really recommend you, because not only is a nice reading, also it's extremely well explained. Because they use real images. They even use, if I'm not wrong in this one, head scans. So you have all the data. You see how the volumes, you know, unfold, how move, how the fat is going on. So in general, it's just very good, guys. So
it's a very technical book that they're coming out with a second one that's more.
Yeah.
Actually, where it's more volumes and things of that nature. It's funny.
Yeah, they're coming with
they have on Kickstarter right now.
Yes, right, but I was checking, and they're only going to publish it in 2020. So it's like
That's right. It's March 2020, I think, is their, but the PDF is already available, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are both available. I was uploaded a link to the store.
The PDF to which one? The one that was just on Kickstarter?
Yeah, I just saw it the other day on Kickstarter. I don't know if they've released it yet or not, but I know that they were aiming to have the physical book by March or April next year.
Yeah. Originally, they didn't even want to do the PDF because they're afraid they keep getting hacked.
Of course.
Poor people.
Sorry, I was just trying to hack. No.
You can have for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, a PDF just doesn't. I need a physical book.
Yeah, the books are way ahead. Yeah,
I totally agree. I mean, sometimes images, they even get lost in the computer. So you can have your anatomy reference. Yeah.
I have sculptures that are just, like custom, and they're, really expensive, and I've seen pictures of them, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
as
it's not the same. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I
my
think
guy, this guy is pretty good,
So you guys
from 3D Total.
That's the 3D Total one, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
got
awesome.
the Anatomy Tools third
The
scale.
Anatomy Tool one is amazing, but geez, it's like 3 times the price.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we go for the other one or what?
Well, the
Looks
thing
like-
is, I can tell you from the way it's made, though, it's, you're getting your money's worth. But.
Oh, yeah.
I think so too. Okay, so let me just quickly finish with Alex. I know you guys been waiting here for me. Sorry, it's a long webinar. So I think in terms of your case, if I kind of show again the image, I'm going to try to go for this face expression. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing is trying to make sure that the upper lip kind of go against the teeth, and we can start already working the nasolabial fold and also some tiny changes. In terms of the body, I'm not going to say nothing because I really like how you're progressing with here, and it really fits what I see in the concept. So it's just the face expression where we're probably going to need to have more work. Tell me.
So I was thinking actually with the eyes as well, because when you're angry or the eyes are squeezed, right? It's more, I don't know.
Yes, the only thing is that since this is a stylized character, I just not sure how to push more the eyes, because yes, all this area
and
here.
The upper nose part where it's go into the nose from the upper head into the nose, it's more like, I don't know.
Yeah, all this area get squeezed, right? All this area, and it creates all these extra wrinkles going on. Yes. It's just that with this concept, I'm just not sure how much I should push that area. Yeah. I just feel like at least the nasolabial not fold and also the lid, it maybe should be enough, just to don't be too hardcore and break the stylization going on here. But we will see. We can work out this kind of stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to do, according to this concept, is literally make all this area as thin as possible. So I just going to, let me just even put in a different layer. What happened here? You have probably a different material. Let me just.
I actually used your skin.
Yeah, I just applied it just now.
Yeah.
So let me just make sure it's a different layer. And then, awesome, you have already event topology happening here. So it's going to be even easier. Spotlight projection. And let's start doing this kind of operation. So as you can tell, the most important is actually how the line is forming. Because when I've been working in rage expressions, most of the time actually it's almost horizontal, but it kind of goes like this. So right now in the character, it's actually going down, and it's quite possible that is why the reason is not completely, doesn't feel completely natural. So we're going to start trying to work out this expression a bit better. So we're going to push this area a little bit upwards, and then we're going to press the upper lip towards the teeth a bit better. Let me just double check. You know what? I'm just going to get this guy here. So texture import, Alex. Let me just import these two because I think those two are kind of relevant as well. This one, and then we come back here. Let me just put this one here, and then this one somewhere here.
It's kind of different. The other guy has more, the upper lip is more pointing downwards.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to have it just in case this one doesn't work completely. I just want to have like a second version just to see if maybe this one can also improve the character a little bit more. So let's try to go for this guy here. So the other thing that I don't know if you noticed that all this area kind of get very flat, and this is because of the nasolabial. So we're going to already work out the nasolabial. So we're going to go with the damn standard. It goes from here. It kind of goes down here. And one of the normal anatomically issues that happens when you make this expression is that the nostrilis, it kind of lifts as well. So it's kind of natural issue that happens. when we do this, and even the nose can even point a little bit downward. I just hope that it doesn't get like too hardcore, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, that's the hairs.
Yeah, the hair is always there. I remember last time that hair is always there. Let me just push it again inwards. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, right now it's overreacted, but let me just now start fixing some of the silhouette here, because I feel like he looks like too fat, and the guy is actually not that fat. He has a big head though, which is kind of tricky, but the guy is not that fat. So I think what we can do right now, check out how the nasolabial goes toward the chin here. So we're going to try to get exactly the same type of volumes happening here, okay?
Yeah.
And all this area here, we're going to start reducing some volumes here, okay?
Yeah.
So right now what I'm going to do, I just go in maybe with my thumb standard. I'm just going to even just smoothing things out. Let me just take out this. And then I'm going to start smoothing things out. And then I'm going to mask this one, and I'm going to press all this area a little bit inwards as well. And this one should be even more pressed inwards. I'm just trying to kind of make a copy of what I'm seeing here, or at least translate from what I'm seeing there. And check out how the corner of the mouth is kind of going. So should be like kind of go down, then the lower lip. Here is fine. It's obvious that it's going inside. The lower lip can be folded a little bit more, so we kind of showcase it a bit more, and we can smooth it out a little bit. And then let me just try to help a little bit the shapes in general. So also kind of feels nice from the different views. So I'm just going to now work out a little bit the shapes of the guy. Just see here. I think the fact that he looks a little bit fat is just because he has too much volumes here.
Yeah, I was just checking the silhouette of the other character on the concept, and
yeah, it feels like it's just that it's just some volumes here, and here we can again press a little bit outwards. And this area here, I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing. Let's try to look for the orbital bone. So we're going to, with the DAM standard, we're going to press here and trying to make sure that it's obvious where the orbital is happening. And also right now, the lower eyelid is probably not that obvious. So we can just, play a little bit more with that one. And then we can start smoothing out some shapes here. It looks like Yoda.
Yeah.
Funny. It looks like Yoda. And then I can start smoothing out some shapes here. Maybe it's a bit hardcore because his expression is not like super hardcore, but let's see. And here, obviously the ear is there, but we can already make some insertion here to kind of fake the zygomatic bone. Because the zygomatic bone is supposed to finish on the ear, but with this character, it's like we are not sure exactly how things work. So let's just see the before and after, just to make sure that we're going the right track. So I think it's too reacted. Let's let me just add some volumes here. And then here it's very obvious that the upper lip is sticking too much. Just to make sure that it goes, as straight as possible here. I think now as a rage expression, it kind of feels more rage. We're going to figure out if it actually fits on the character or not, because that's kind of the tricky part about this guy. And also one thing that we can do here, let's make sure that the lower teeth are a bit smaller here. And let's check out the position. I think that it can be pushed slightly inwards. Like this, something like this. In terms of the eyes, I don't feel like I'm really going to hardcore with the eyes. So let's see where we are sitting right now. Let's see, before. I think before it feels like he's inflating the cheeks. Like he feels like he's more like a blowing the cheeks with kind of face expression. Right now it feels like it's kind of going more towards the direction. And I think it's because of the nasolabial is kind of helping that. So let me just make the nasolabial slightly. So it's something like this. Kind of goes a little bit. There is a distance between the corner of the mouth and the nasolabial. So we can already hold that distance and start smoothing out some shapes so it's not that crazy. Because it's a kid, so we cannot make too reactive shapes. Here we can smooth it out as well. Yeah. I think we can move the teeth a little bit up. Here I'm pretty much like kind of guessing some bits because you can see that even in the lower teeth is showing some gums, and that's probably also because it's pretty much unfolding mostly on the bottom part. So the upper teeth should be less visible than the lower teeth. So we're going to move the upper teeth a little bit up, and then something like this, and then we start fixing now. Yeah, I mean, it's slightly better, but I think it's not exactly where it should be. Let me just check the whole character back again, just to see if it's going somewhere. It's a bit more realistic, which I don't think is good, but let me just show again here. Let me check. I just want to see the whole thing in one. So let's see how it works. I think he looks like he's smiling, probably because I push it too much outwards. So we can just push it slightly outwards like this.
Mind if I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
I can't tell from the concept because it's smaller on my screen. It looks like his bottom jaw is sticking out from in front of the top teeth. Or is it just me?
This area here?
I was thinking that too.
Now his bottom set of teeth looks like it's jutted forward.
It could be the case.
Yeah, the bite, like
maybe.
Yeah, the bite is different. Yeah, it's true. It could be the case. I kind of feel like he was just closing the teeth, but it can be the case actually. Yes, his bite
changes the attitude.
Yeah, it could be that the bite changes
it's
here.
like a expression that kids make. I think, like they just like I don't know. I'm not sure. I've seen it quite sometimes when kids like do expression like this, like they drop the jaw forward. I don't know why.
I wonder how much that kind of update can change the character. Let's see, because definitely it's going to need certain level of asymmetry. I wonder if something like this.
Yeah, it could work if the whole lower jaw is slightly to the right.
I think, yeah. I have the symmetry on, so. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of helping. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's something about the bite. It's true. It looks like it's a bite issue. It feels like it's fitting a bit more. It's a tricky one, right? So it's very difficult to see from that concept how far we can go. But I think, let me just check the before and after. But obviously, I think the bite looks like more natural in general, right?
Yeah.
I think so, Alex. I think for your character, I mean, I like what the guy said just now. I like how the bite changes the whole character, and I also like the symmetry, the symmetry of date, because it really helps also to read the character better from the frontal view. So I mean, I think it's going to be up to you which direction you want to take. But I think it's nice. I think it's looking nice this way.
Yeah.
So from that sense, you can push more the jaw a little bit outwards here, and then it's looking nice actually. I like it. And I think about the eyes, I wouldn't really bother about giving too much creases or anything. I think just like this is fine. It looks very similar. Probably the only thing that in Nico has that the guy has like a big head, so on top of these updates, we need to be able to translate how big is the head, maybe something like this. It's very slightly changes. But the thing is that this quarter view, this line that he drew here, for me doesn't make too much sense if I compare this area here. So
maybe
tell me.
Maybe the head's a little forward, or the neck is like backwards, and the whole spine is like doing stuff like this, and he's like sticking like this. I'm not sure.
Or it could be like a more of a head rotation. So maybe this guy in the concept, he's actually, you know.
I think even in the concept, the brow is quite prominent as well, and you can see just above the eyebrow, a little bit to the left in the center above his nose, you see there's a ridge there, like that.
Yeah, I actually tried
here, right?
A little bit. But
exactly, yeah.
You could like in the skull
exaggerate that a little bit.
Yeah, and actually that's right, because it kind of helps also to get the rage. Look here. Just like, actually it helped, eh?
Yeah.
Kind of help, yeah. Very good job, guys. I mean, very good analysis, eh? It's so tricky to read this kind of stuff sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just a tiny line in the concept, but you can see it, and it does make
a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in terms of the size of the head, I'm a bit worried about giving too much, because it kind of feels like he kind of lose his essence. It could be that the head is just rotated, the guy just slightly rotated.
Yeah.
But I think it's already going like a very nice direction. I mean, by the way, let's make the mouth noticeably smaller, because in comparison with the head, it should be a little bit smaller. Let me do it in a separate layer just in case. Something like this for now, and then help again the symmetry. Yeah, maybe something like this, sort of. Okay, so I think it's going to be pretty much something around this for now. If you have any question, Alex, let me know about any part of the process.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think.
So, I mean, as always, guys, anything that is unclear, either on the lessons, on the modules, just let me know, and I will try to explain. Or even like Remo said, if you want to know about any specific technique, just let me know. Even on the forum, I'm okay about even making videos, explanatory videos, and just post them in the forum. In case any of you feel like you have like any shape or any like element that you don't know how to tackle, feel free just to ask me, and I will be very willing to help you guys in the process.
Yeah.
Let me just make the.
Me is how to make a decisively Asian eye.
The size.
I've been fighting with that for like a long. There's three other that I've done that it's still.
That fold is all about literally just make sure that it's not fold where the orbital enters here against the nasal bone. Once you have this area pushed, like a little bit down. You get more natural shape, Asian or any type of.
But it's kind of more like it's smooth somewhat through there, right? It's not.
It kind of smooth out, and it's just at the beginnings. Just to be careful to don't do it all the way, because I see a lot of people just making the whole orbital all around the eye socket. Just make sure I just about the beginning. Like if I show you the Lucy Liu, I can just show you quickly somewhere.
I mean, I don't know if it's in the version that I lost, but I know I was taking the standard brush and pushing it in and then smooth it and then push it in.
Yeah, I think in the version you already had it. You kind of just miss just this tiny, you see, like just very tiny sticking down. The only thing as I mentioned with Asians in general, they don't have much of nose. That's the reason probably why you kind of misunderstood the smoothness and you smooth it out too much. But since actually she just have Asian eyes, but all her features are actually more Western, you definitely have to push it more inwards, so it's more obvious,
Okay.
So I think we can leave the webinar for now, unless you guys have any other question. Tell me.
Just a question, because of the hands, can you check the hands? Because I did them as well, if they are okay or...
I think for hands, I will go exactly for the same feedback that I give to the guys. Try to don't make them too bony, mostly because it's a kid, so his hands are going to be mostly like very, very smooth out. In fact, not only that, I will try to make sure that the fingers are fat, like fat fingers. So the first thing that I will go around is just literally, let me just make sure that I smooth out these shapes as well. I will just literally just make it fat for real, all the way straight.
All right.
So they fit better on the body, because right now it was feel like it's too skinny, I think, for a kid. So yeah, just make a slightly fatter. And by the way, I think in your character, I'm just not sure because on the concept, I don't know if the arms are too long.
Yeah.
Just that in the concept, the guy has long arms, because normally by rule, the hands should always finish on the middle of the thigh. If you have like extended, let me just make the print here. If I make a vertical line here, right now it feels like it kind of is going a bit below. It should probably finish more something like this, according to this body relation. So maybe they should be slightly smaller. And I think that perhaps it's just making the area of the bicep, this area here. Wait, where I am? There you go. Because his biceps are actually quite small, so we can just push all these areas slightly up, and then proportion-wise, we have already kind of the fingers already going to the middle of the cuff of this area here, and then the biceps start fitting with the small bicep that this guy has.
It's true. All right.
Kind of feels like before it was too long. Maybe just pushing it slightly, and also his his brachioradialis, all these muscles here are just crazy, like it's more like a Popeye type of character, right? It's like so, which is kind of cool, I think here you kind of get a little bit more crazy about the shapes. So don't get too human, and maybe you can play with exactly the kind of shapes that Nico was playing. It's kind of strange, but it's cool. It's a cool character. I mean, it's weird shapes. But it's a cool character here. Let me see. But it's a bit strange. I must admit that this area here is going to be tricky to tackle, because the brachioradialis is very, very reacted, so it's going to look more like a tumor type of thing.
He's like rotated the arm as well in the concept. So.
The concept, this line that he has here, I have no idea what it is, because it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's okay.
but yeah, no worries. I think you already have the character done. Just take a second look on the rage. I'm going to upload you these few images just for you to take a look. But I think, as the guys mentioned, I think maybe it's about the bite. Maybe rather than a rage, it's more about type of bite that he's developing. So feel free to play and show us on the forum. Yeah, I'm very curious to see different options with this face expression.
Yeah,
I'm very curious. Okay, guys. So, do you have any question before we finalize the webinar? No questions? Okay. So yeah, it's been long. It's like 2 hours and a half. Sorry, guys. Like it took so long, but I'm sure it was helpful. Anything, as always, just write me personally in forum. I always reply, give you feedback. And you just feel like every time that you guys progress, you guys need less and less feedback, which is great for me. so it's amazing progress, everyone. So I'm very, very happy to see how everyone is going. So I think that's it. I think we're going to stop the webinar, and we see you guys next Thursday. Yeah?
All right.
Okay, thanks, Marlon.
See ya.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thanks to you guys.
Bye all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye all.
Okay.
Bye.
So let me just go here.
Was that